Ferrari swapped Toyotas. A Tesla swapped Honda? How do I look?
Sexy.
Swapping an electric motor into an old gas guzzler is a fun novelty. Technology is getting better and cheaper, and electric cars are beating some of the fastest gas supercars off the line. But is it really the future of tuning? Let's find out. Hey, a big thank you to our sponsor this week, Ring. If you'd like to feel safer and know what the heck is going on around your home when you're not there, Ring might be the perfect addition to your house or apartment. Ring helps you stay connected to your home from anywhere in the world through an app on your phone and lets you see who's at your door before you even get off the couch. That's why I have one at my place and I love it. I don't have to get up if someone's at my door trying to sell me something. The best part is, for all you Donut subscribers out there, you get access to a special Ring welcome kit just for being you. That's the kind of people we are. The kit includes a video doorbell and a Chime Pro, which is exactly what you need to start building a ring of security around your home today. Go to ring.com/wheelhouse. That's ring.com/wheelhouse. Thank you very much, Ring. In this episode, we'll find out step by step what goes into swapping a gas engine out for an electric one with the help of our friends over at Electric GT. You might know them as the guys who put an electric motor in a Ferrari 308. But first, let's understand why people hate on electric vehicles in the first place. Reason number one.
They're slow.
While a lot of the more common econo EVs are kind of slow, some other electric car models are faster than any gas engine on the planet. Take the Rimac C2 for example. It's got 4 individual electric motors that produce 1,888 horsepower. That's insane. Then there's the White Zombie. Built on a 1972 Datsun 1200 platform, this thing could hit 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds. Not to keep talking about Tesla on a show that already constantly talks about Tesla. Tesla. But their new coupe, the Roadster, has a 0 to 60 time, a claimed 0 to 60 time, mind you, of 1.9 seconds and a hypothetical top speed of 250. Not sure I buy that part.
Yeah, it's fast, but it probably gets crappy range, right?
The Tesla Roadster has a claimed 620-mile range per charge. That's about the highest of any electric vehicle on the market, but it's a good sign as to where the industry is going, with range and life of the battery being expanded exponentially. I'm lucky if I get 250 to the tank in my Mustang. That's very true. Which brings me to my next point.
Where am I gonna plug it in, Nolan? It's not like there's EV charging stations everywhere.
Actually, there are. You're just not looking for them. Plus, you can install them in your garage pretty easily. So if I'm looking to save money and do it all on my own, what exactly would it take to convert my car to electric? I'll admit, I stupidly thought I would be able to just jump into the world of electric swaps and be able to understand it easily, but it turns out it's very, very complicated. Way more than I thought. So our friends over at Electric GT offered to help me understand it a little better.
At Electric GT, we design and engineer electric powertrains for classic vehicles.
So what kind of chassis are preferred for e-swap candidates? Do you guys like play favorites? What kind of characteristics are you guys looking for?
I mean, typically rear-wheel drive is the best way to go. It just opens up your possibilities. There's 2 different ways to go with it. You can stick with your transmission, do a motor to transmission. That's a little more straightforward. Or you can do like Tesla swap, which is, you have to have independent suspension for in the back.
For transmission swap, do you guys essentially just bolt on a motor to the front of the existing drivetrain, or is there anything else you guys do?
Essentially, you're just taking a motor, you're bolting it to a trans. We do have to design and some adapters and make some special stuff. And then under the hood, we make it look good, make it look fun, give it some style, right?
So you guys have the body. Besides that, are there any other components you guys use from the existing car?
So if we're doing a transmission swap, most of the things can stay. Obviously we're getting rid of anything internal combustion related, so no exhaust, no gas, all that goes. We keep the brakes, we add an electric brake booster. I mean, all your suspension, like I said before, is pretty much the same. And then you've got the body, which, typically with these classics needs some work, needs some help. But a lot of it stays. The 12-volt wiring, we will typically just start from scratch because we don't use 80% of it, because 80% of it is related to the internal combustion. So this is an electric motor. It only has 2 moving parts. There's a bearing on either end, and there's a rotor, and it spins.
And that's it.
That's it.
What's going on inside of this to make it work?
So inside of it, there are several poles, and what happens is the controller here excites those poles and it turns to each magnet pole, and it does that very, very quickly.
What are these?
So this is where, yeah, so this is where your phase leads hook up. So you have your phase leads here, so it's an AC motor, so there's 3. And then these 2 terminals here take in your DC, and this inverts it to AC.
Wow.
And then it also does all kinds of software things in the controller. So sort of like in an ECU where you can control how the engine does certain things, you can control that inside of that controller.
How much power is this motor here making?
So this is about 120 horse, and it does about 173 foot-pounds of torque. So the horsepower number isn't like overwhelming, but the torque, it's 173 foot-pounds, and that's from 0 RPMs. You don't wait for torque in electric vehicles. It's there now.
And I heard there's a torque factor that affects the horsepower number.
So with an electric motor, I said this was 120 horsepower, but it's got that 173 foot-pounds that's available instantly. So it feels more like 175 to 200 horsepower rather than that 120.
Okay.
There's sort of like a feels like conversion chart.
Yeah, the butt dyno.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's the truest dyno. All that low end torque is awesome, but what kind of effect does that have on the old style transmissions that you guys are mating them to?
We'll definitely have them rebuilt, and we'll run a stage 2 or stage 3 clutch that can handle the torque. You know, you can pretty much drive all day in like third, and then if you want to have more spirited driving, you want to have some fun, you can shovel through the gears like you always would, right?
Y'all want to see a launch?
So yeah, the motor isn't spinning, there's no idling. So you don't clutch like you would, you don't slip off the line like at a stoplight, you just hit the accelerator and you accelerate. Wow. And then we use the clutch between gears.
Okay. For the DIY guys out there, are there any more affordable options than this motor right here?
So this motor starts at about $4,000. You can go up to like crazy racing motors from different companies, go to like 20 grand. You know, for like a really budget conscious DIY guy, you can get like an old forklift motor and hope it doesn't blow up.
So something that I would be afraid of is hurting the motor. How would you blow an electric motor?
So you could ruin an electric motor by overheating it. You know, with a permanent magnet motor like this, you can, if it gets too warm, then you demagnetize the magnets, and that's a bad thing. Yeah. But what's great is it has a temperature sensor built in, and the software in the controller will limit these things so that you can't damage it.
Okay. What is the wiring situation like for an electric car?
We typically get rid of about 80% of the harness, and it can be a somewhat complicated procedure. So you have to have some familiarity with the circuit diagram. You know, like you said, you don't have an O2 sensor, you don't have a NOx sensor, you don't have all these sensors. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, the harness does shrink a little bit, but you do have to make your own custom harness.
This does not look like any car battery I've ever seen. These cells in here, what are they from?
So these modules here are out of a Tesla Model S. We have 5 of them. In a Model S, there's 16 of them. So in the Tesla, it all lies in the floor, and they call that a skateboard chassis. So what we do is we repackage the batteries. This is a full billet aluminum enclosure. Spend a few hundred hours in CAD, and you can do something like that too. And then we put the junction box that has all the stuff that keeps batteries safe on this side. The front is your high voltage connections for the battery, and then back here is the cooling.
How does that affect range?
We get about 80 miles out of this car, so it's a great little around town car.
How is cooling on batteries different from cooling an engine? Is it a different coolant?
No, it's pretty much the same. We're just pumping glycol through and putting it through a radiator, a heat exchanger, and cooling them.
What's the weight balance of the car now?
The weight balance of this car is 60-40, 60 in the rear, 40 in the front. It was about reverse of that, but having a rear weight bias car is actually a little more fun, right?
So yeah, that's kind of the cool thing about these batteries is like you don't have to just put them in one place, right?
So in the 2002 that we looked at before, it gets one of these in the front and one of these in the rear, and you still have usable trunk, you know, usable front, back seat, everything.
All right, so behind us we have a Fiat 124.
So we started with a bare bones chassis, did a full resto. Then we have the electric motor under the hood with that speed controller on top of it. We made it look fancy with some laser cut parts and some 3D printed parts. It mates to the original transmission via a little CNC adapter there. From there back to the wheels, it's the same as it would be in an internal combustion car. So here we are in the back of the car. You still have a usable trunk. You could throw a few groceries in there, and that battery box we looked at on the table is underneath the floor there.
Premium electrons only. This is so cool, dude. It's just like, I'm like almost mad how good of a job you guys did, because all this just looks exactly, it looks factory, you know? Like this is,
That's the idea.
it's so,
That's the idea.
it's so freaking cool. When do you think something like this could be feasible for, let's say, a very ambitious 16-year-old?
Well, you know, kids these days are really good with computers, and we spend a lot of time on the computer doing this. So I'd say in a few years, you know?
Okay. It's an older car that was internal combustion. Can this be registered as an electric car?
It can actually. We took this car to DMV, and you know, you walk up to the counter, you say, I want to make this electric. They come out, they look at it, they look in the engine bay, they say, oh yeah, that'd be really hard to put an internal combustion back in. And then they mark it E, and then you have an E title, and you never have to smog it again.
Let's all just make electric cars. We don't have to deal with that ever again. We don't need to know a guy, you know, we just make it electric. Do you think electric swaps are the future of hot rodding?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, it's a foregone conclusion. This is hot rodding. It's not the future of hot rodding. This is hot rodding.
It's now. The future's now, kids. So it looks like for now, us broadcasters are gonna have to wait for technology to catch up to our wallets, or the other way around. To get any significant power or range, you still have to invest a decent chunk of cash. But I think that electric swaps are the future, and the way the car industry is trending proves that. I almost got a vanity plate that said Thick Boy on it. Like, I was just gonna have it at my desk, but you actually have to put it on your car, and I didn't want to drive around LA with Thick Boy on my plate, so I ended up not picking it up. I kind of wasted 50 bucks.
You get 2 plates, just don't rock the front one.
God damn it. No, but like, I didn't want it on my Mustang. I didn't want to be nice. See you next time.